Great morning, everybody. Coming to you at 0600 hours, 31 minutes, Friday, October 26, 2018. Higher learning versus education. Is it worth going? Matter if you go to college? Is it worth going to college? When I start off saying everything you choose in your life is up to you. You cannot allow somebody to dictate or things, parts, whatever it is. If you feel as if that's a good choice for you, I say go do it. Because what you're going to partake in your life is based on what basically what you want to do. Like we all grow up. This is called America, the place of American dreams. You can be free as you want. I learned you can be free as you want in your mind, but physically and around people, no, it's a hindrance. It's restriction because we living in a society where it's they trying to control you. You don't want them to control you. So the best place in the world you can be is having a good, healthy mental capacity, mind, energy, vibration, spirituality in your mind. Because on the outside, you have control over. You can influence based on the things you learn. You can be of influence, AF or IN, based on who you are. You don't have to partake in everything the world does. But within you, on this earth, I say you got a purpose. You really have a true, whether you believe this or not, or want to know, or do know, or if you already know, you have a true purpose. You can forget sometimes because things around you could be not going so great. You can be doing your best. I don't care if you make $1 million a year, $21 million. I don't care if I just gave you $190 million contract for this project I want you to work on. The thing that people forget, and I think that we forget personally, that damn, I do bleed, I do go to sleep, I do have to eat. So that means I'm still a being. I'm still in a vessel where things happen to me. I do have a brain. I do have a heart. Like, yo, if you stab me with a knife in my heart, I'm gonna be very, very much in pain. Somebody die in my family, pretty much I was close with, that kind of helped me. I'm gonna really have some type of feelings. Like my emotions is gonna, like, I'm still alive. And I noticed that's what we forget sometimes. And you can't say it to certain people because if you a man, certain men are raised a certain way, you are raised a certain way. They look at you weird. So that's how you learn about friends and everything else. So college and higher learning. I call higher learning from the day you enter pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. It's higher learning. And from third grade to eighth grade, well, actually fifth grade, fifth or sixth to eighth grade, they call it junior high, because from ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, it's called high school. That's when you start learning towards information that basically you learned from the third to the eighth grade, but now it's recited. It's a system. It's a system. Then after you graduate high school in you can graduate in many different ways now. You go to college, you can do the same thing. There's technical college, there's vocational, there's trade, and there's you going for a specific degree. Got undergraduate, graduate, and what you're trying to do is acquire what you did not have. So in high school, basically, I learned this in school. To get into colleges, and colleges are institutions. Now, I'll explain the system and institution in a minute. To get into that, you want to start young. So parents, make sure your child, and as your young men and women, if you're listening now, make sure you keep your grades high. It's not hard because all you pretty much doing is reciting information that is being taught over and over, over and over and over and over, over again. called a system. And it's basically, I call it higher learning because it's just information that you just didn't know. I'm not going to say that it was information that you needed because you're going to go to, they're not going to explain where all the words come from. You're going to learn spelling words. They're not going to explain the spelling words. They're not going to tell you the history of the word. They're going to say, spell these words so you can communicate. You're going to need how to learn when you're in younger grade, a 4-letter or 3-letter word, cat. Then you're going to have to learn how to spell the number 4. Then you're going to have to write the number 4. Then you're going to have the Roman numeral 4. Then you're going to have to put the 4 in the decimal. So in the tens place, in the hundreds, and the thousands. And then you're going to have to learn how to divide, multiply. So you can relay information to other people correctly. Because we form a system, which is not bad. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say schooling is bad. But when we start thinking we're going to sit there and work in a world where, unless you're just coming to conquer, if you're just coming to conquer, of course you wouldn't guide your child on math equations because all they're going to do is just shoot and kill people. They don't need to add and subtract in. They're going to have people and if you can't do certain things, be well aware you will have very lot of difficulties in your life. That's why higher learning is important. I can't be saying one word, you saying the same word, and you don't know the meaning of the word, or we're trying to at least be relatable. We can come to a grounds where we can understand one each other. It won't work. That causes anger, confusion, arguments, disorder. There's no reason we won't be the resolve is minute. And I just experienced this on Black YouTube. The title was How Can We Have Conflict Resolution? But it wasn't conflict resolution because one person and the other people agreed that respect don't matter. So if I'm used to saying the word nigga in front of a business setting, but when I go in front of people I don't know, but it's not a business setting, I can still say it, but it's okay to say it still. And that boggled my mind. So it's like the higher learning served no purpose. See how that works? That higher learning right there served no purpose. And trying to ask a question for understanding served no purpose if a person cannot relay the information how that person know it. So if that person wanted somebody to buy, if you was on a date, well, if one of your things are a man should pay on the first date, well, you find out he doesn't do that, then most likely you might not continue to date, or you might come to an understanding. Let's see why. Because there's going to be things that you might want to do and he don't do. So, and there's going to be things he want to do and you don't do. But if you never relay that information, what's the point of even speaking the same language? That's like a question, that's a challenge question. What's the point? Because it serves no purpose if we cannot even understand one each other, and then if we don't care to understand. That's another big thing I have noticed. Do you care to understand? Do you care to explain? Do you care to worry about or to think upon one person to try to get everybody? Because maybe that one person can unlock a lot of things you may need to help with. But you choose to leave that person out, then you'll wonder why, like, wow. And then I notice as indigo people, we're quick to push each other one away. But we know to understand it. But I'm saying for understanding, just for this purpose about college versus higher learning, is my higher learning is different from yours then. That means you got to be willing and capable of comprehending. You got to be able to. That's why higher learning is part of comprehension. That's why you read all these books. Like, what was this book about? And then you tell it, and then the person that wrote the book is say yes or no. And then they might find something out different too. Like, wow, they hit on an emotion that they wasn't aiming for, but you like, thank you. Like music. It's music you will listen to, like a song called Killer by Lecrae. He's a inspirational rapper / Christian gospel, whatever you want to call it, genre. I know this gonna kill me, but I just can't let it go in the Taste to a pillow and got the grip up on my soul. These honey dip lies mesmerize me. Pride got her crooked finger twisted all inside of me. Who's walking? And it's all killer. You would think he's now if you think about it, since I can comprehend, he can be talking about just smoking weed, doing crack, snorting cocaine, but it can be a seduction of a person. Because the second verse, her feet go down in dirt. So don't let her consume you, even though her heart is black, her exterior is beautiful. She take away your life, strip away your joy. Patricia, she gonna build you up, but she just gonna destroy you. My friends felt low when they was so high, running to their and it's like, wow, that was it's that's see and see that to me that's powerful. Or a song called "I'm Good." I hear the trouble coming for me. Death is at my doorway. If it say something, my parents, homie, that ain't what my. He said I ain't guilty because I still ain't had my cord. They trusted and believing it's just another for. I don't know what they feeling. I don't know what they thinking. Yo, my soul's invisible like Mario when he blinking. He say they full of joy. And it's like that metaphor is I'm good, but he's saying I'm good. See, my comprehension, if I didn't understand the language, and if I didn't like, and I started back listening to songs like Don, I didn't know why I say Don. Don mean to put on, or he's the leader of the mafia, the Polo Don Juan. He's the leader of that crew. He's the head of the table, and I didn't know that. So when I started hearing the words, and I was like, oh, I started studying the language and understanding. I was like, oh, that's what that meant. Maybe that song's not so corny. Maybe that wasn't. That's why I'm open to where I was born. Now in my life, my parents did not preach, teach education. It was preached and taught, get out of school, graduate. So that was cool. At least we got to one part, but that was never thought about. That wasn't even thought of in some families where nobody talked about. I'm about to graduate. You should graduate because it was about the street life. Because that's all his uncles. That's all his and then the ladies. All they knew was the street life, how to hustle their body and to use some of their mind, but not to fully use their full mind. So now we forgetting 50 years old, we still hustling with our mind finally. And then if you partaking in the group gotta understand, man, my family didn't preach education. My family didn't hustle in the streets. Well, that wasn't our aim. We chose the other route. So yes, I am very open to education, higher learning in college. But this is on my own path. It's on my own choice. This is my own journey. It's my choice. So I got to remember that. So if I need to now, after you graduate high school, you go to college. Now you mentioned all those undergraduates and different things you can go do. Then there's the certification. You get a skill trade where you go for college. It's like a 2 year associate's degree or it's a certification. Then you got the bachelor's. Then you got your master's and doctorates. Master's and your associate's a 2 year degree or it's a 2 year program. So if you're filling out an application, you put, if you have certification, you put certification. If you go for computers and it was a certification, it was a 2 year program. I went to ITT, computer networking system, that was a certification. But if it said associate, it was a 2 year program, that was 2 years, that's associate's degree. It have to amount to so many hours. You have to receive and attain so many hours to have that degree. And a bachelor's is 4 years. Bachelor's degree is 4 years or more, 4 to 5 years. Then your master's and doctorates is based on literally that. You're a doctor. You become a doctor, a physician, something that's you're going to have to take a lot of clinicals. You're working with people's bodies. You might be working past the normal. You got to go places. You need an internship. It's very strenuous, and that's what you're going for. So when I see people going for masters and doctorates, and one of the things I learned, just because people are good at a lot of other things, that don't make them good at other things. So just because you see a person with a master's degree and they make 2 million, they make from 500,000 to a million to $2 million a year. That don't make them a good. That probably won't make them just because they got that money. That don't make them a good parent. That won't make them a good household as a family. That don't mean nothing. And that's what I'm. That's what this was like. What I'm doing. We are correlating money with parenting, and I'm noticing we're correlating longevity of relationships in the race of people with money. As we forget about love and help, assistance like one another, raising the child, parenting, two home household, not having babies at a young age, learning who you are. We start forgetting other things. I noticed that. You ever notice that? You ever notice you're working out? You're just working your arm muscles. You're not working your brain muscle. And then you get to a place like, wow, I'm strong. But now let's apply mechanical application. Like, whoa, hold on. That's actually using your brain. And you start using your brain like, man, I'm having trouble. Why I can't, like math, that's a mechanical thing for your brain. So you haven't studied math, but you were studying everything else. It does matter if you need it for that time being. Because now we're going to get into, we know that all that was higher learning, the systematic and it's institutionalized. And it's not to brainwash you, it's just enough gathering of information to give to you so you can relay information to a person to another person, whether you're from another country or not. You're going to learn their language or you're going to learn the language of that country, not their language, because it's their language. I mean, whatever they speak. And you can have your language, which amongst your groups and your friends, but it still have to be a language which everybody can understand. And if everybody don't understand, should you not? This is your choice. Should you not revert back to the language that everybody know? So then you can get to the part where, okay, I know you for a while. When I hear you say, like my father, I was born in the north, he's born in the south. When he speak, I have no idea what he's saying. And not being funny. So this day he can say some things and we laugh. Of course, my oldest sisters understand some more so, but with me and my four immediate brother and sisters try to understand. We like, oh, we just say okay, or we like he'll talk and we hear him say it again, and like, oh, that's what he said. It's nothing wrong with that, but it's finally we trying to get understanding. If we don't get understanding, how we gonna move forward? And like these simple little things I speak about, like if you can highlight them in your brain about honesty, dignity, helpfulness, love, and different things, highlight those and then highlight your gifts, your talents. What are you good at? What are you good at speaking on or doing? Highlight those and work them into your life daily. And to me, that make me a better person. And that make me a person that's not, I know there's a person that's coming against me. I'm not going to be oblivious. I'm not going to get comfortable enough to be like, I'm going to always be in my mind, hey, even the person that look like me, they got the same feeling like, hey, what you doing? Why are you doing that? That don't make sense. And if we can't communicate, cool. I'll leave you alone. I have no problem with that. But I don't have hard feelings 'cause I can't communicate. I just don't want to talk to you because I can't communicate. I'm not going to keep trying to communicate with somebody I cannot communicate with. If that make any sense to you. So within higher learning, you learn everything applicable so you can comprehend one another. And you go through the schooling. And I call the schools from pre-K to 12th grade because it is a system. There's nothing wrong with this system. Only thing I say in the system, they should mix it up. Like I grew up being a African descent, what they call quote unquote black man in America. All I know was in history for my people, unless we had like a 1 month, and that's bad. We need a 1 month to explain a little bit more that wow, we were creators, we were builders, we were architects, we were smart. And from learning in school, I didn't get that. And then we wonder like we had such a differences in higher learning. Then I learned something one day. I educated myself. I went out to the library and read a book. I was like, oh, so we did build boats back then. So we were not just all brought to one land. We was migrators. We was hunters. We were warriors. We were strong. We are brave. We are courageous. Like wow, this information I didn't know, and I don't care whether it's written by a white person or not. This is the information I needed to know because we're gonna have information that's written by people like me. That's condescending of the, that's in content of a person, self-loathing. I watched. Now when I hear, I just laugh. I don't even get mad. I'm not surprised. I just say it is what it is because I accepted me as me. I don't have to accept another person as them because that's that person. I didn't say that right. I don't have to buy into what a person accepts. Put it that way. You don't have to listen or accept what I'm saying. But I know one day if I come across you, we are going to have to be able to communicate with one another. I don't have to argue with you. If you don't like what I say, you just don't like what I say. But I ain't got to say, well, this is the way I effing talk. I don't give it like I don't have to say that. I was like, well, I'll tell the truth. I'm not willing to change. I don't want to change. Well, your way, you said it too. Or I'll be like, well, this is how I talk. What do I need to know about you? But that's just me. That's me willing. That's not enacting to young men, especially young African descent men. There's nothing. That's not being wimpy. That's not being a chump. You actually being the bigger man, whether you realize it or not. A man that can see a problem, find find a resolution, and have some type of solution is a greater and bigger man. Never was told that. Just like you get picked on for being smart, don't worry about that. Keep being smart. Keep studying those books. Keep educating. Edu means to go out. Cation of. Go out of what? Well, if you're only teaching me and you're trying to teach me instead of guide me one way, I think I need to learn another way because there's going to be a time where there is no electricity around. There's going to be a time when there's not a certain tool around. How can I compensate for no electricity and this tool not being here? So once I learn after the higher learning, I gotta go read on my own. Whether it's wrong or right. And that's the thing. You don't know until you do it. If you never try to take the training wheels off the bike, you don't know if you can balance or will you fall. And when you fall, that don't mean you need to put the training wheels back on. That means you need to figure out how to balance without the training wheels. Because we know with the training wheels, you're not going to fall. You know, if you have a left and right training wheel, you take off the left right training wheel, you got to lean more towards the right to balance. Now remove the right training wheel, you know now you got to stay centered. You need a certain amount of speed, but once you get used to it, now you don't worry about how fast. You can sit still on your bike and balance. As soon as you jump on it, because you understand. Or you can go at the slowest speed, you don't gotta go fast. Because you start educating yourself. Your brain start taking on information that now let's put this together. I don't say fixed, because fixed is set in place. Just like now when I'm learning information, algebra means to rearrange. Math is not perfect because you're rearranging. It's set. Like when you have a set number, when you do those equations and those parentheses, those are set numbers. You cannot move those because if you move your numbers, you change the mathematical problem. And that's what's happening as now we're educating ourselves. Now we're knowing, oh wow, education is important. But now the understanding of what type of education. Now when you go to college, you have to acquire some type of income. Well, if you're not born into a family that has income that didn't probably guide you into college. Now, there's things out there that you may need to know. You have a financial aid. That's assistance for most of everybody can receive. Then you have HEPA, where you can receive based on a certain household income. And then you have loans. That's the killer of education. This is why now, if someone telling you education matters, now you have to do a life. Now education does matter. Now you got to educate yourself enough to be like, how beneficial is for me if I take out a loan? But then you have scholarships and tuitions. Then you got grants and opportunities, but you didn't know about this because you just is new. So I want to make you aware of all these things, young men and women. Then you got the financial aid now that if you stay a certain amount of years in that state or that career is paid off in 10 years. I will say seek those careers if that has a high amount and you doing that. But you got to know what you really want to do. And at 18, 19, and 20, you really don't know what you really want to do. That's just an idea. You might always want to be a doctor and you get into it like, well, hold on. I'm a good architect. And you start that. Now, guess what? You owe a lot of money because there's no tuition put aside for you and you took out loans. So you got to start thinking about that. And whoever surrounds these and I'm here for you. Now, I may not be in your city or state, but if you listen and try to find people, go to the library, read. You might have to do your own research. I'm helping you. This is help. If you don't want to classify this as help, you don't got to call it help. And then that's what I look at people like. Help is not always your way. Help could come at you at any type of direction. Help is help. You can't get mad at help. Whether a person can assist you with money, their thoughts, their words, what I'm doing, you can't say that I didn't get enough help. Yes, you have. Or I didn't get no assistance. Yes, you have. If you listen to this, you're getting assistance. You're getting help. So if you don't want assistance and help, I advise you to stop listening. Because then you can say, well, I didn't. But then I'm going to say, well, you stopped listening. See, and that's how comprehension works. You can play games, but you can't fool yourself. Only a fool can fool a fool. That's why I do use the word idiot, dumb, and stupid now. I don't say ignorance. Because I told myself 3 years ago, 2015, there's no more excuses. I told that to myself. I'm not saying that to you. But I'll tell you, if you have an understanding to know and you don't go out and get that knowing and the put knowledge in yourself, that's your fault. I'm not talking about what your parents did. That's their fault. I know that it's affecting you. But I'm talking about when you actually have to account a responsibility now. After the age of 8, you are knowing, you know right from wrong. But I'm gonna give you that your parents had a big effect. See, and we trying to throw that away. I'm not gonna throw it away that your mother abused you. I'm not gonna throw away that your mother or father brought men and women around you. That affected you. Not gonna affect like you seeing your mother with a different man sexually or your father with a different. I'm not gonna say, oh, that did not affect you. No whatsoever. I'm not gonna say, well, you are a grown man and woman. You can be 60. I'm not gonna say at 60 that don't affect you because I know at 35 things still affect me, but I don't let it bother me. I think past that and farther because I have educated myself to knowing. Because you can educate yourself to know who you are. They say a man or a woman that falls or that stands for something fall for anything. I say that's true and not true. What are you standing for? What you're gonna be standing for could be just totally wrong. You still can fall for anything. That don't mean nothing. You still can fall for anything. Because as long as I gotta put it in if you stand on one thing and I put it in there and say this is how it go, like example, religion, you're gonna follow it. It can be wrong. You don't think it's wrong, but it's wrong. It's up to you to know it's wrong. Just like it's up like when your parents did that, it's up to you now to know that's wrong for you. It's wrong for your child. or is wrong for your future. So if you do have a child, you can be like, okay, I know this affected me. That's how you disassociate from the curse. You loosen the curse and you break it. You dismantle this curse and you get rid of it so you can be healed from it. Because now if you cut yourself open and there's a wound, you gotta heal. And there's gonna be a scar. It's gotta cover itself up. It's gotta mend together. And that's how you get delivered. Once it's mended together and all healed, you might have a mark to let you know this is where it used to be at, but it's not there no more. Thank you. That's when you can give your honor or however you do. I just say thank you because I know that I'm talking to the spirit of in a positive and a good light. I'm lit. I'm not worried about it no more. And I already have permission because the creator, the almighty gave me access. And he said, all you gotta do is activate it. I activated that. No longer what my mother and father done to me hurts me. I will accept what's upon me. Listen, I will accept what's upon me. So now I'm educating myself. I have to take out the understanding. What do I need to take from this? I need to take. You get at it boldly. It don't come to you. You can be watching all the wrong people for the right reasons. You could be watching all the right people for the wrong reasons. That don't mean it worked for them, it worked for you. You might have to do something a little different. I learned this when I was into the religion of Christianity. I watched this one guy. He just pray, pray, pray. He needed a flat tire fix. He wouldn't go fix it. He would just pray, 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 and somehow it would get done. He needed his bills paid. He would pray, 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 and it get done. And I tried that. I was like, this is not working for me. And then I started studying more. I was like, oh, I had to do the work. Oh, okay, I'll do the work. And I got farther. And then one day he told me, I'm jealous of you. I was like, why? You older than me? But he was like, it wasn't that. It was like, it's that you can do all those things and still do all those things. Basically have the work effort to go work. And he apologized. I say, whatever, okay. And I took it. I accepted his apology. And still to this day, he still has that. He got married. He told me that again. And it's like, how many times are you going to allow yourself not to? And I told him, you out there thinking about me, but you're getting all the blessings you desire. What is wrong with you? You pray for blessings. I don't pray for blessings. I don't pray for the same reason. I don't pray. I talk to the creator. And what I manifest, it manifests. Like now, every time I meet people, when I go into places, I may not be the biggest or baddest, but they say your stature is scary. And I just now started hearing this because I know why. I started learning who I am. I learned that I can command a bullet to not even stray my way. And that sounds funny and crazy to people, don't it? But this is through education. I had to educate myself. I'm only as strong as my mind is. I am only as strong as my mind. I don't care about my physical muscles of lifting. People laugh, you can't lift 180. You 230, you can't lift 180. Well, I can lift it. You want me to lift it 8 times? I'll lift it once. And see, and that was an analogy. If you don't stand something, you fall for anything. I did lift 180. I lifted up 1 time. You said I couldn't lift it. No, that's not lifting. You got to do it 3 times. Well, in your analogy, see, as I say, as you educate yourself, now you have an understanding since now you can relay information. You never said if I lift it 3 times or 8 times that mean I can lift it. You told me, can I lift 180? I took it off the bar. I even bumped it to my chest because my arms are longer and pushed it back up. That means I took all where my energy was at up high. I brought it down low. I lost a lot of energy and I had to re-exert myself and use my energies again to push it back up. And it had to come to a full dead stop all the way. I had to go all the way up, not halfway, not part way. My elbows weren't bent. My arms were straight. And then I had to bend it back a little bit to put it back on the hooks. And that's the way the world is what it's doing to you now. If you pay attention, they asking you to do things and you doing them. And then now when you doing them, they telling you, no, that's not it. And he's like, wait, you said to do this. And they like, yes, I did it. They were like, well, you didn't do it this. Oh, you didn't say. See how you can catch people now when they're understanding. See, they won't understand it. See, you do. That's all that matters if you do. Because now when you now the situation happened. Hey, can you file this information? And then it's a project. You say, stop, okay. You want me to file this way? Okay. What are the guidelines now? And the person's like, oh, now imagine you had to did all this project, and then they come back, and now you about to be in a meeting. Like you do done, you show them like, hold on, you're missing things, and you sitting there like, how I'm missing it? You told me to do that, but this is what I wanted. See, now you need to ask questions. Okay, how many? How do you want this space? How do you want what font you want? See how now you start learning information when you start correlating everything together. This is called education, knowledge, understanding. Now you are becoming wise. So now understanding college, is it important for you? I'm gonna say yes and no. I will say this wholeheartedly. Not all people are meant for college. College is to go learn. A I'm gonna say this word wrong. Pacific of a trade and a skill. Okay, example, EI, you want to become a registered nurse. You have to go to schools that's teaching you nursing. You have to go to a nursing school. It's a nurse. You would not go to a IT school. I'll be right back. Here we go again. Here we go. Here we go again. Going through the same thing. So with IT, you would not go to an IT schooling for nursing. You would go for a nursing school. So you will find all the schools, the colleges, the institutions that instruct on nursing, how to become a nurse. So you got to get in your mind and mentality. Just because you're going, that don't mean you're going to get the best training. You still too. Now what I learned, you have to apply yourself. And if you're not applying yourself, that means if you're getting an assignment and they say study this, and you come back the next day and the assignment not complete, and they go over it, you're not making the best chances for your opportunity. You're not giving yourself an opportunity or a chance. So as you do that, now you figure out what schooling you're going to go to. Remember, you're making the best decision. It's college for you. Now, let's say you want to go for engineering. So you want to be a mechanic for an aircraft or a car. Well, you can't go to mechanic school for if you want to be a aircraft maintenance. You can't go to a car school. It don't apply the same way. So you got to make sure you find the right school. And you see how if you keep doing that, that's how you know if college is for you. And then maybe you don't want, and in college, what happens also, if you didn't know, you take prerequisites. You take classes that you don't need. You're never going to use again. I took a lot of that, but I learned a lot of different things in those classes. So you might want to think about that. Then, based on if you're looking to transfer to a better school, maybe a school, my example, EI was I wanted to go to a school in my city. And as I talked about going to having good grades, a good GPA in third grade to fifth grade to eighth grade, now ninth to 10th grade, which was important, but they actually looked at my sixth, seventh, and eighth grade GPA or average in school. Basically, this school was a prestige school in my city. I was birthed in the city. I'm thinking, well, I have no problem getting to this. And I never been the type of person, well, where I was the smartest, but I did my homework. My mother made sure I did my homework and my projects and studies, and I had a hard time because I was learning a different way. So I took speech classes. I remember being tested as well growing up, but that's another story. And with me doing that, I had to come to understand that I may not be as good as other people, but I have to apply a different way. I have to do those assignments. I have to study ahead. Oh, I have to read ahead sometimes. I have to be done by a certain day. Some people can cram in, some people can retain information differently. For me, no. I have to keep doing the same thing over and over. So if you find me being repetitive in my words and the things I say and the things I do, so of course it's going to sound funny to you and sound messed up. So as you're doing this, you got to make sure is this opportunity is best for you. Don't matter what another person, I can tell you to go to college all day. And if college not going to be for you because you might just need a specific skill or trade. And then I'm learning too. I learned too in the last 5 years. Having skills is very important. Like when I was helping people, like the pastor of the church or people that needed my help, my neighbor, family members, I was learning a skill. I wasn't thinking about it as a skill because I didn't have the understanding like, hey, OJ, you're learning something different that you didn't know. You can utilize this and eventually there's no way, and I learned from being homeless to now, there's no way I can't make money. There's no way to say I would never have a job again. Because what I was doing in the church, I was learning cleaning. I was sent there for that. I feel like that was my spiritual discernment. I was sent to clean or to help out. I learned so many things. I learned about a furnace. I learned about the maintenance of doing drywall. So I learned construction. I learned carpentry. I learned welding, and that wasn't just that. And I took on jobs that was temporary. Where my in our city again, we got a thing called labor ready. And I was taking on all these skills, a whole bunch of different skills. So I was learning, constantly gaining a skill and didn't realize it. Now at 35, I'm like, I got all these skills. So now, and there's so many tools now. Like the other tools I can advertise. That's what I meant, not many tools. I can advertise my skills. And I can let people know I know how to paint. You need a painter. I don't charge a lot. I'm not the type of person that's really, really up on that. But I know if I needed $60, like man, what skill I have is worth $60? Oh, painting. Oh, okay. I don't or I might help and might get a connect to somebody else. Like, well, if you need me, let me know. And that might be part of their business. I don't have a business in drywall and construction. Then they'll call me, hey man, I got a person that normally do this for a living. Hey, I need some help. You know how basically I know how it go. They're gonna give me a couple dollars and boom. And it's more than enough sometimes. Sometimes it's right on time. But I learned that I didn't so called need college. And this is the downfall of a lot of people don't know. We preach education, we teach it, we're saying go to school. But nobody understand credit, and I brought up before loans. Now the after effects of that. Now I'm thankful, even through being through homeless, I finally paid off all my debt. You would think how I got so much debt. because I didn't know what interest meant. So I'm gonna eventually do some lives on that. Turn the recordings because my phone don't record, as you know. For some reason, it won't take my records, and I had to. Excuse me. I don't know what just happened to my brain, but I learned the credit and interest rate when you take out a loan. And these wasn't good loans. These weren't even good interest rates. So that was even bad. I didn't even understand. Even if I did take out a loan, that wasn't even a good interest rate. That wasn't even a good company you to get a loan with. So I didn't even know that. So with that process, so is college good for you? You got to make this decision, and hopefully you can have help. Utilize the guidance counselor. There's people that's willing to help you. This is their career, but they're like go to the library. If you want to learn about grants and scholarships in the library where I stay at, I'm not sure where you stay at. You can it's downtown where we at. You can go to the downtown library and set up a meeting, and there's a lady. She's getting paid to work at the library, whether you go or not. This woman is getting paid. I'm not saying this is her career. She went to school for this. She understands, or she took a class on it. Sometimes you don't have to go to school on something. Just like doing your own taxes. I want to talk about that soon. Another live. Doing your own taxes is very important because that shows you, okay, maybe I should hold back on this. Oh, I can write this off. I can get money if my job required me to get a haircut. It's a requirement. Oh, I can get money. So, see, when you start educating yourself and start going out and learning, you learn so much information that you won't just get from the average person. Or if you never do it. So if you never do anything, you can't never say it didn't work. I'm not the type of person. So that's why my mind is very open when people speak about different things. I'm not just saying, well, and I'm not going to create in my own mind, well, this is how this person is. Well, I'm not willing to do that. Well, F that person. No, you can't because you're going to lose valuable information in life. And as me being a nurse, I'm talking to older people. They're not out of their mind. They're not crazy. We may think they are. They might be wondering. They might be a little confused. But every once in a while, they throw some little nuggets at you. And I was very shocked at information that I didn't know. And then so I started asking people about like the Buffalo Housing Authority in my city. It's different one. We got like Langfield, Kenfield, Town Gardens. This lady told me about Federation, the Federation of. I was like, wow, what does that mean? So I looked up some information. I didn't get it all because I write things down, and as I go through, I don't have the best one track mind, which I should, one zoned in mind. So I'm gonna go back and study it because it was something else I was already studying on. So so back to understanding, is college for you? Higher education versus college. And that don't mean college don't always mean because you go into a university. As I stated before, you can go and learn a trade. You can learn how to weld. And if you learn how to weld, now this is now about trades and certifications. This is the thing. From what I learned, maybe I'm wrong or maybe, but from understanding, you might need more licenses. You might need more certifications. So, example, computer networking. You want to be administrator for a company. My city is called Spectrum. It's a cable company. Now they're broadening her horizons. It's more than it's a business than just giving people cable. You're giving them internet. You're giving them connections to the world. It's business class now. So if I wanted to be in the business class of Spectrum and I wanted to be administrator, I might have to go learn, take another class that's 1 month, 2 months online for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and get certified. That plays a part now when they look at your resume, or now if you need certain qualifications. That's another thing, qualifications. What are you qualified? Is it through your experience or what do you know? So if you need Linux, that's a different operating system from Microsoft. So you might have to learn a little bit of Linux. You might have to know that the whole thing because this whole system is maybe based off Linux setup. That's it. And you can still do everything else you're doing in Microsoft. Or it might be Apple. Now, if you used to Microsoft and not used to Apple, then you might want to go play around with Apple a little bit. Not that you need to. It's the same operators. They deal things in the same way. Because if you learned about HTML, coding, networking, DSN, the server, the landline, if you understand that, it's the same process. They're just in a different format. You might have to type a code in to bring up a file. But sometimes in Microsoft, you don't need that. You can just click right on the folder and hit right click on the mouse or control alt whatever and hit new folder and then type in the new folder name. So you know on Linux you can't do that. You have directories. So you and if you didn't know that, you're not qualified for the job. So you can't be mad you didn't get qualified. And then in the understanding, I can go more into it. So I'm gonna be more in depth, specifically on certain things on another live, because I want to do more of a guidance to understand more things because I wasn't taught this. I had learned this on my own. And another thing about education, where is it at? Is now that you do have this information in your mind, you ready to go out in the world. Guess what? This is the worst part, and nobody explained this to you. That job or that career you're looking for may not be available. Why? Different reason. The economy may not be in need. You might have went to school and it said in 5 6 years this is gonna. But remember, that's a game, a life. I'm not gonna say a game like you play that game called Chance. That's a chance you're taking. IT, IT, and medical in like industrial field is gonna always be available. But that don't mean specifically what you go to school for may not be available all the time. You might have to wait 3 or 4 years. Like my younger sister went to nursing. She had to wait a year or two, year and a half, till she were like if you want to work at specific places, you got to be mindful with that. If you want to move to a certain city, like a teacher, being a teacher in Buffalo, New York, New York State, it's not very good. You might have to move to another city, or you will have to be assistant teacher, or just wait around till spots are available because it's pretty much locked up, or it's not as accessible, or the benefit of being a teacher here may not pay what you thought. But even though you're a teacher, most people wanting to be a teacher, you're not really looking at the pay. So now you got to start looking into that. And that's not really being so. So now you got to understand the economy. And see, when you in school, you take classes like that. I learned about electricity. Like now, back then, you can buy a Snickers bar for 20 cents. But by inflation and the electricity of the economy, how it expanded, well, guess what now? To buy a Snickers is $1.25. And if you compare the rates and the time, the air, and how we produce, it adds up the same amount. But the funny part is what I hate about the economy. What I hate about the economy, everything goes up. Every time your pay rate goes up, the economy goes up. But this is for the first time in the economy that the pay is not going to go. The price of living is not going to go up. Minimum wage about to go to $15 an hour, and this is for the first time in the economy. I want people to understand that it's not going to go up because they're going to see, is this minimum wage beneficial? See, because they worry about their pockets. I'm getting to that about Congress and all that, rich people. See, it's a reason you stay poor because it's the lack of knowledge. You don't stay poor because you don't have money. You got money right now. You just got paid. What did you just do with all your money? You spent it on things you needed. You had to pay bills, did this, and you did that, you did this. Everything was an expense. That's why you poor. Don't say you poor because you don't have enough money. Now you gotta. That's why is it important for you to go to college? There you go again. Is it now? Some people having more skills. There's people that have skills that make that make 6 figures a year. There's people that go to college that don't make 6 figures. So to you, you got to see the benefits in that. And then now too, if it's available, now how can you move up in this company? See, that's what I'm saying. You gotta. It's funny how you gotta, and it's not hard or a lot. Because to me, it was never hard. Once I knew, I was like, man, I gotta outweigh all of these balances. It's a check and balance, balance and checks and balances. How much do this outweigh? This loan, this percentage. Now, is this available or not? I gotta keep doing the scale. I can't recall what you call that little scale. How we balance everything. It's a certain a specific name for that scale. So now you gotta come to it into your mind. What are you going to do? Now think about it. You put all this information together. Now you ask yourself this question: is college good for you? Is going to a vocational school, college, is it good for you? You staying home, you being local, you live on the dorm, or it's a trade. Or as I'm learning a specific trade, I may not need nursing is like a trade now because it's a field where you can branch off. Besides nursing and being a doctor, you can do phlebotomy. You could be working in the ER so you can sterilize utensils. It's called a sterilization processor or some name they got. You can just be the person that pick up all the needles. You can do dialysis. It's so many different things you can do. You got home health aide, personal care aide, certified nurse, licensed practitioner, physician, occupational therapy, physical therapy. It's not you're not limited. So if you go into a field, that's another thing to think about. Do your field limit you just to one thing? So if you don't become a teacher, you have a background in whatever background is. So you can be a librarian until the teacher stay in your city and be a librarian and pretty much get, if you balance the way of money, you get paid the same. But you got to balance the way of time as well. Are you willing to wait that long? So remember, everything is it's a choice. It's up to you. What I say unto one, I say unto all. It's your focus. You got a purpose, mission, and position. Take advantage of it. Your advantages is only for you. My advantages is not for you, but my advantages that I have now, I can go out and guide you and then challenge you. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be an instructor. I don't want to be a preacher. I want to be the person like you ever thought about it this way? And then here's some information that I have received before. Here you go. Here's some information for you. And I may not have all the information, like about grants. Like my mind be like, well, I need to know. Like I'm learning it just like you. And what I do is write it down and I map it out. And then everybody I meet and I ask, like, and the most common thing, don't be this person. Know what you want to do, but don't know how to get there. Don't be that person. Because we in 2018, 2015 with me was no excuses. I don't know how you want to live your life, but there's no excuses because if you listening to me, you can easily go to Google right now and type in whatever you want to learn how to do. And there's a library somewhere around you that got books in there that can show you. You don't even got to go to school in most cases. You go to school, like for me, only thing I've seen so far, I know there's more things out there, probably like language and about the history, is the law. I tried looking at the law book, like the nationalization law, immigration. Tried to read that, and it didn't make no sense to me because I started off it is say in parentheses C, and then by C it say 100 period. Then it got a little C, and it say 1429. I have no clue what that meant, but I kept reading. I was like, yes, this would probably be if and I can see why the bar exam is so hard because that means I might have to refer back to some law like Roe versus Wade. I wouldn't have known that. And in Roe versus Wade, now if you actually like instance recently, what helped me was this new Human Resource Commission called the HR 1242. And there's this one lady, she said, check out these other HRs like 140, 140. That's that is based on now everything has its role, has its play. And I ain't gonna get too like I'm not even sure how this works, but I was reading the law and it said a federal order. And I said, why would the law have a federal order? And when you go to federal orders, it was a list of orders. And then I went to state orders. I was like, oh, so that's why it's weird. And to me, I find this very funny. It's called United States of America. All different states have different laws. Even within the law, I have like my state might say, well, search and cease is different in one state than the other state. And that's through the penal law. And that's like, okay. So it got confusing. So I can see why now, yeah, you can go read about law and everything, but you're not fully understanding. And I would see people argue on the internet about the law. And I'll just tell the one person, you need to stop, because if you telling me you didn't go to school, this person say, I went to school, you might want to listen to that person. Like, and it comes to find out that law, it's not obsolete. It's not. It's like the new. How do I explain it? One law is stronger than the other law. So, instance, I was doing, just as one example before I end this, is I was doing collections. The state law is stronger than the law on collections. So, instance, in New York State, you only can, if somebody collecting money, this is things going pertaining to school. Somebody trying to collect a debt on you. Well, in New York State, the most strictest law rule is they only can call you 2 times a month. So they got to be very calculated on how they call you. And I learned as well. They can call you 2 times a month. Anything else they can sue. You can sue them. You can sue them for the amount of your debt and don't have to pay your debt off anymore. So be mindful. And they can't contact you through media. Save those medias, take pictures, screenshot them, and save the conversation. They're not supposed to even talk to you. And then in some cases they're not even supposed to leave a voicemail. So as you think about all these things, it's college for you. May not be for you, but learn a skill and trade may be for you. You fixing cars growing up by yourself. You might want to become a mechanic. You might be the best mechanic, but that's in you. And you're gonna learn some other skills along the way. So it's up to you. It's your choice. It's your path. It's your journey. Choose wisely. Remember, it's not a mistake. If you never try, you would never know. You're not a failure. As I say, I am. I am success. And once I fulfill what I'm doing, I'm successful. That don't mean I'm complete. You still gonna thrive and strive for better. But be okay with where you at. Because sometimes where you at is where you need to be at. Because sometimes you may need to go back and be like, man, I need to go what I look at the happy times. And I learned this, and the lady has said this. She said sometimes we need some micro wins. Like micro wins is I completed this certification. That's one micro win. Try to get 5 micro wins under your belt. Completed the certification. You made sure you went on time every day. You might have trouble waking up. You have a child, and you had a child at a young age, and all these, and you got 5 of them. That's one win. And then, because we always know a bunch of small problems is one huge problem. And I learned this too. Negative energy need to feed off negative energy. You don't need negative energy to be fed. Look at negative. This is negative versus positive. Positive, you control everything that you that's surrounding you or within you. If that book is in front of you, you need to move that book and put it on the shelf. You can pick that book up with your hand because you're able and capable. Cain and Abel. And put it on that shelf. Now, if somebody else is doing things that you shouldn't be doing, you are able and you can move away from them. So I look at it like this. This is negative and positive in a different sense. Imagine just being negative all day, every day. You're saying mean things to people. You're doing mean things. It's nothing for you. Now, just imagine everything that's negative is a brick. You dropping bricks. You dropping bricks. You dropping bricks. So that one brick, you cussed out your mama, your sister, brother, everybody make you angry because they just make you angry. Now you going to places, you saying things, you're doing things. Now you on TV. Now it's a camera for everywhere you go. Now imagine if you want to be positive. Now, why I say that? Everything positive. Look at all them bricks you laid. Look at all that heaviness you just laid down. And then now you don't go backwards, but you want to go build again. Well, you just can't just walk up to that person after you say all those things. You got to apologize. You got to get them back. See, look at all that negative caused you to actually, when you negative, you're being set back. That's why I don't know why I'll be hearing people. I'll be seeing people that's like instance, like I'm going to use example, Stevie J. That's a negative dude. That's a negative man. And if you look at his career, you know how much great his career would have been if he had been more. I don't care about the women he with. I don't care about his personal life. I'm talking about his career. That if that he dropped so many bricks talking about people, or even Puff Daddy, like, or all these artists, like if you listen to them dissing people, imagine they wouldn't dissing people and just went on about their career. You got to go back now and pick up those bricks. Some of the bricks are cracked, and when you lay the brick, that means you had to take all that clay and form that brick. See how much you did? You did extra work when you didn't have to. So if you just always stay positive, I'm not saying things in life is not going to hurt you. It's not going to, but being negative as in you destroying, you saying but it's up to you. It's your choice. You don't have to look at it as being negative, but think about that. Then you wonder why it's hard for you now to be positive. It's hard for things to work out for you. And I say this always been my lifestyle. I don't have a reason to switch up who I am just to please a woman or to please my or to make my mother happy. I've been making my mother happy since 8 years old. And it's not even her. I've been making myself happy, but I got around people that made me feel bad. See those other negative bricks. So think about if you just stay positive within yourself and just do great things upon what you know you should be doing. Don't worry about what he or she or they or them doing. That's what they're gonna do. That's up to them to make their own decision and choices. That is not up to you. That is not your fault. That's not your battle. That's not your fight. Stop. Allow them to be who they are. You be who you are. Be great. And remember, enjoy life. So pick up though, don't have to pick up bricks. You just can start building your wall. So as soon as you're done with college, as soon as you're done with Detroit, you building your wall. So you got your foundation to build them out. Like you ain't picking up bricks. You ain't breaking those brick downs and cleaning them back up or filling them in the cracks. You just continuing what you left off at. You have a great day. Enjoy your life. Have fun. Don't forget to have fun in life because that's one thing that we forget. Respect yourself. And I'll also say have a good and positive affirmations. I am great. Reinforcements. I love me. Empowerments. Make sure they're positive. I am great because I know I can do this because you've done it before. And if you've never done it before, don't call yourself a failure. Just say you're learning new information. How did you fail at what you didn't know? And how did you fail at if you've never been in that situation? Each opportunity hold a new situation. Each situation is a new opportunity. It has nothing to do with the last one. You can gather information from the last one. As I say this too, your past is your past. Your present is a gift. That's why it's called present. Present. Present what are you giving now? And never predict your future. Only thing you can do for a future is prepare for it. That's all. And then, as I state, you prepare today. Today is the 26th of October, 2018. So the 26th of October, 2019, whatever you wanted to do today, you prepare for it that next year. And if you've been working on it, believe me, well, I know that there will be a change next year. Even if you slip for a little bit. That don't mean don't go off course. Because remember, your path, your journey. You're gonna meet people along the way. Things are gonna happen along the way. But that don't mean you just stop. Keep going. And once you find yourself doing that, you be the best you. And be the greatest you can be all day, every day. And remember, see if college is for you. You might want to go for a skill or a trade. Just see, look into it. If you never been told that or taught that, young men and women, try it. Never know. Go to the guidance counselor. Go to people that got wise counsel. I don't care what they believe in, whatever. Because if you're only looking for a certain information, you're not looking for all this other stuff. You're just looking like, it's college for me. Walk up and don't allow somebody else's standards or moral values, ethics to be yours. Because they might have done things you would never have thought to do. And they can be very negative or they can be very positive. But it's up to you. You have a great day. Shalom.